So our first priority, of course, was employee welfare. We have about over 200 employees, 200 Bahamians that work for the Grand Bahama Power Company. Extremely important for us to understand their welfare and well-being, and I'm pleased to report, as of this morning, we confirmed 100% of our employees are okay and in fact injury-free. Unfortunately, many of our employees have been impacted personally. They're homeless and have lost everything. So we'll be working with them to make sure they're taken care of, accommodated, and their families are accommodated. So that was our number one priority. And thankfully it's ended as well as we could have possibly hoped. With regard to the power system, it's a little early to tell, but I'll tell you what I do know so far. The power system itself, the distribution system, i.e. the poles and the wires around the Freeport area and around the West End, seem to be in very good condition. Remarkably good condition considering the passage of a very, very slow Category 4, sometimes Category 5, sometimes Category 3 hurricane that took 2 days to pass through. So the good news is the distribution system is looking okay. It needs some work, it needs some poles, it needs some wires, but I think we can manage that. The generating stations, we have two on the same site in the industrial area. One of them is called Peel Street and one of them is called West Sunrise. The West Sunrise plant, which is the newer of the two, is okay, substantially okay. It didn't get flooded. It has some issues, but we think we can manage that. The other one, which we call Peel Street, unfortunately succumbed to major flooding. It was submerged in unprecedented levels of flooding, and its associated substation, probably I would say 6 to 8 feet underwater. We need to do a lot of work to dry out the Peel Street plant, to dry out the electrical equipment, to inspect the electrical equipment. The flooding, of course, is unfortunately salt water, which is a very different ballgame from fresh water. So we've got a lot of work to do to desalt, decontaminate all our electrical equipment. So that'll be the defining factor in when we get power back, is having the Peel Street plant available, because the substation next to the Peel Street plant, actually our West Sunrise plant, delivers through that as well. So we need to again desalt, decontaminate, dry out the substation. Now, thankfully, as an Emera company, Grand Bahama Power is owned by Emera, an investor-owned utility. We have affiliations with the Tampa Electric Company, and I've been in communication here from Nassau with TECO over the last 3 or 4 days. We have resources lined up. They're ready to come as soon as the ports open. So as soon as the shipping ports open, we'll have men, women, materials, equipment here to start drying out, rebuilding our system, replacing the poles that need replacing, and helping our employees who are having to look after their families and are perhaps incapacitated. So we have a large resource coming from the US to help us with it, and we're very, very pleased to be able to draw on that. So of course we're working with all the relief agencies we have a national response here. This is not just about the power company. This is just not about the Port Authority. This is not just about the Bahamian government. So we are working together. We have been working together with the Port Authority, who are the local regulator, with the government, who are the national government, of course. And together we're trying to work on an overall response, because we have a national issue here. This is not just about power. Power is a major part of the problem. It's important we get power back on. It's important we get people housed. There's a lot of people being displaced from housing. A lot of homes have been ruined by water. A little bit different from previous hurricanes like Matthew, who we suffered through as well, which was a wind event. This is a water event primarily, which is very, very different. So again, we're working with all the authorities. We're going to try and get power on as quickly and as safely as possible. It's important to understand that homes and businesses that have suffered water ingress, sometimes, I'm talking about my employees that I'm responsible for, 15 feet of water in their home and rescued from the roof of their house. I mean, this is unprecedented. So it's important that homes that have been inundated with water the electricals are inspected before power is restored. So that's going to take a little bit of time. We'll make sure our generating plant is ready to generate. We'll make sure our poles and wires are ready to take the power. But above all, we're going to be working with the Port Authority and government to make sure the homes and businesses of Freeport, West End, and ultimately East End are safe and ready to take power. And we can get this island back on its feet as quickly and safely as we possibly can.